All right, guys, well, I am up here and this thing is wiggling it there. This thing's pretty sturdy. Well, hey guys, welcome back to the homestead, and today I picked up this River's Edge 18-foot two-man ladder stand. And last year I went to an 18-foot ladder stand, and before I used to hunt out of 15-footers, but I wanted to get up in the air a little bit more. It seems I was getting busted a lot in the 15-footers, and I loved being up 18-foot in the air. The only issue was I had a big game Guardian that I used last year. I actually got a doe out of it, so decent stand. But the one thing I did not like about the stand, it had like these nylon, or they call them Flex Tech seating, and if you're on one side or the other of the seat, it's okay, but the middle has a bar in it, and it just, I'd rather have the full bench seat. You know, it's kind of a preference thing. So I wanted to try this River's Edge. They offer an 18-foot two-man ladder stand, and it has the full bench seat. So we're gonna put this together. We're gonna get it up in the woods and see how it goes together here. Well, we are all unboxed. And there is everything here, and it looks like it comes with a couple harnesses and a couple tree belts. Those are what you would put your hook into to hook into the tree, and instructions, all your bolts, belts for the stand, padding for the seats, and padding for the rails there, ladder, and all our pieces. So we're gonna get started on this, and I'll break in as I go here. Just gonna jump in here real quick because I want to show you this. These have two separate length bolts. So all the nuts, the lock nuts are the same, and the head size of the bolts are the same. They're 13 millimeters. So all you're gonna need is a 13 millimeter socket and a wrench. But these ones here are 2 1/4. There's 24 that are 2 1/4 inch long, and then there's 8 that are 2 inches long. And I could see you getting those mixed up because there's only a 1/4 inch difference. Comes with some pins. Those will probably be for the ladder, and some 2 nylon washers, and I'm assuming those are going to be for the shooting rail. But we'll get started on this, but I wanted to show you that so you don't mess up those bolts. We have it almost assembled. And, you know, have a table and get a bucket. It will make your life a lot easier. You don't have to bend over. Everything's, you know, right there. Saves on your back. Directions are phenomenal on this. But there is one flaw in the direction, and I'm going to show you that. This is the shooting rail, as you can see. Goes up and down here. Well, in the directions, it has that bolt here turned around. So this end here would be on the inside where you're sitting. That's definitely a no-no. You wouldn't want this sticking out on the inside where you're sitting, because that would be a flaw. You know, you're snagging everything on it. So just wrong in the directions. Just turn that bolt around. Very easy, but everything else, directions are great. One other huge piece of advice: this footrest is the first thing you put on, and then your seat. Put all the bolts in, but do not tighten it, because if you tighten it, this rail is about impossible to get on. I mean, it is tight. So I had to loosen everything back up and get it to put that rail on. So just leave it loose. Then this rail, and just remember this piece goes in here before you put the bolt in. But yeah, directions are very good. The drawings are great. Way better than any tree stand I've ever put together before. Usually it's horrific directions. So yeah, there it is. So we'll get the bottom on, and then get the ladder, and we'll get it up in the woods. Well, I got everything loaded up here in the side-by-side. Finally got some a day where it ain't raining. Well, it still could rain a little bit, but nice and cool, 60 degrees this evening. We're gonna head out and put this bad boy up. Well guys, we are back here, and this is the tree I'll be putting my stand on. Left my ladder out here. It's been out here for a couple days now. All right, so I'll show you the method I'm doing to get this up. I had to do this with my last tree stand. What I do is I just lean it against, I lift it from this side up and I slowly slide it up the tree by climbing up the ladder. Now I've already had that angled pretty far down so I could get it up that far. And I'll climb up and show you what I mean by what I'm doing. But I always put these pieces of wood underneath the first step, so when it sinks down in, it has a stop. We're gonna go up there and ratchet it from the ladder. And then I put two on here. I put one around the back rail as well. It's a little extra added. It kind of goes against the tree here. There's two straps for it, and they easily go on. The first one that goes around the tree, you're just gonna take, it has a little loop like that. Man, my camera is terrible focus. Just gonna put the strap through the loop, put that around your Y, and just pull that through the loop so it kind of tightens around just like that. And you're gonna do the same with your little locking latch there. When you put it together, it's gonna look like that. Hope you can see that. And then you kind of just pull it tight like that. And this is on there pretty tight. Let me get the camera off so you can see that. All right, so our arm is on there. There's our pin in the middle. And our straps are around it there, you can see. And this is nice and tight. So it holds the ladder nice and tight against the tree. Now we're gonna put our cross straps around. So we'll climb up and get these put on. These have the same principle. It has a little loop at the end of these. You put it around the ends and then you kind of pull it tight. And these will crisscross down below, which I'll show you once I get them hung up here. So I got two of these hanging here, and we'll come down and get this ladder out of the way, and I'll show you kind of how they crisscross here. You can see each of these straps hanging down, and this one on this side you're going to cross over to the other side and attach it to the ladder, and the same with this one. So we'll get this one over. Okay, so we have our strap here. Well, on the end of this strap, this comes off, there's another hook, and you put this around like that, and then your other string goes through here like the rings, and I'll give you a close-up on this when I get it all put together here. So if you can see right here, let me get focus there, these wrap around, there's a little loop, and then they go into these two hooks here, and you kind of loop your, man, my focus is terrible on this, and you kind of loop through there. But these crisscross across the back of the tree, you can see, and then up to the stand. And this tree is a tad crooked, so it's not perfectly across, but you get the gist of it. All right, guys, I am up in the stand, and I wanted to show you this. I put just an extra ratchet strap around on each side there, just a little more security. You probably don't need it, but you know, if one broke, this is going to keep it against the tree. And all right, guys, well, I am up here, and this thing is wiggling it there. This thing's pretty sturdy. Boy, I love being up here. Can't wait. Another month and a half, we'll be out here. Take a look at that, 18 feet in the air. Beautiful out here. Well, there it is, the river's edge, 18-foot, two-man ladder stand. And pretty easy to assemble. I will say this about the stand, kind of direction wise, the easiest stand I've ever had for like directions. And they're pretty, if you put enough, I put a bunch of tree stands together, so a lot of them are very similar. But if it was your first time and you were buying a tree stand, this thing, directions are very good and the illustrations are good. Usually that's the part that's terrible. And but yeah, completely assembled and put up in the woods. And I don't have the padding on it. I'll leave the padding out till hunting season. Just don't want it to get tore up by a squirrel or something. So, but this is the padding. And then I have a really big pad I put on top of it. I'll put a link in the description for the stand if you're interested. But if you want to get a few feet more off the ground than the common 15-foot ladder stands, this is a nice 18-footer. And I did everything by myself, start to finish, putting it up. Yeah, let's make sure you have a 20-foot ladder. There it is. God bless you all. Take care.